Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest show on earth, the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I am your host, Xavier, and today I got an amazing episode for y'all. But before we get started, I would like to advise all the listeners, the watchers, the subscribers to hit that like button, that subscribe button, leave us a review, a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate that. We read all those things, so if you guys could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. And get right to the show. So today I got a very, very special guest. He's one of the leading independent cultural and political analyst there is. He's making all types of content that's extremely dope, and I'm excited to have him on the show. His name is Anthony Brian Logan, aka ABL. Welcome to the show, brother. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you for having me, man. Good to be here.
Hey, it's good to have. We've been chatting for a while about making this happen. So to finally get in the studio and get this rolling, I'm ecstatic to get. I think it's gonna be a real good episode.
Absolutely.
But getting started, man. So the people who may not be familiar, or a lot of people, some people may stuck under a rock. They don't see the million followers, subscribers you got on YouTube. Just give some brief background on who you are, how did you get into this space?
Okay, so my name, Anthony Brian Logan. Everybody call me ABL. I got into this space right around 2015. And the reason why I got in is because I was on YouTube trying to find guys that I could relate to talking about politics. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't finding anybody. I'm like, I just didn't like what I was seeing. And I felt like there was a need that was not being met. So I came in to meet it. That's really the main thing, because I'm having feelings about being conservative. I'm telling my friends and family, they're not really trying to hear me. People that surround me don't want to hear it. They don't know what's going on. So I'm like, all right, who do I talk to? Who do I reach out to really take it to the next level? And that's how I got to be where I am.
So that's what made you start it?
That's what made me start, because I just saw I couldn't find anybody that I could relate to.
Right.
And I was trying to learn more about being conservative. So I'm like, all right, let me just learn more myself. Let me just be that person for other people. And ever since, and people come up to me in the street saying, hey, man, I grew up watching you. I've been watching for years, because it's like, I started in 2015. So you got to think, if somebody was like 14 years old.
14 years old then.
Now they
24, 25. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know you was doing it that long.
Yeah, man.
So your family background, do you come from like a conservative family or?
Well, I think they're conservative by the way they behave.
Okay.
But everybody vote liberal. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of the things that I see the liberals do, my family would never.
Really?
They would never. All the LGBT stuff.
Your family would never.
Nah, they're not going for it. People talking about, you really are a biological man, but you identify as a woman. That ain't really no real thing. And then people that are like that, we got them in our family, but it ain't like, that's just that person.
Right.
It's not like a regular thing that happens. So trying to make it be a thing where you educate children about that, it's like, nah. Normally when your uncle come around and you dressed up, you keep the kids away. You don't bring the kids to the drag queen story time and be like, look at this man, this 40-year-old man with a beard and everything else dancing in front of your kids. Like, don't nobody do that in the black community, especially not in my family. So we're conservative, but we just do, in my opinion, and nothing against anybody's lack of education.
Right.
That's all. That's really the key piece. And if more of us had education, we would just pair how we are culturally to how we are politically.
I want to go back specifically to building your platform, because you said you started that's a decade ago. Mm-hmm. Now you got over 1 million subscribers. What do you think? What made your platform grow? That strategy that you use, do you feel like it's relevant in 2025 for somebody that's listening and also want to build a platform?
That's a really good question, because I don't think the way that I grew is the way that people can grow now. Because back then, this is before TikTok. Instagram was not the way it is now. Like what we do now, we do the doom scrolling.
Exactly.
Everybody want 2 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute.
Yep.
I got the video, it's 40 seconds long, and people are not even watching the full video because their attention span is nowhere.
It's facts.
When I came in, it was 10-minute video. That was the standard. And that's still the standard for some people. It's funny because on my YouTube channel, I started to upload shorts. Mm-hmm. And then people are like, nah, man, don't put no shorts. So I want to see the 10-minute video. But they are in the minority. More people want to see the shorts.
The shorts.
So I would say the way I came in is different. I came in with the 10-minute video. I might have done one video a day. Now, I wouldn't say necessarily hammer it with content, but you can't.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't say hammer it with content because people can kind of get tired of you. I mean, and when I say hammering the content, I'm talking about like if you're putting out 5-6 videos a day.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I know guys that do that and they can make money, but I think people might get tired of it. You can have a really high trajectory with that, but you can come down just as fast.
Right.
Because everybody's like, all right, once a new guy comes around, we're going to go over to him and then get our dose. We don't need that from you anymore.
That makes sense. What about monetization? Like, what are some things as far as like back then when you started to now? How long did it? First of all, how long did it take you to get monetized, and how was you earning money with your platform?
See, back then you could get monetized right away.
What do you mean right away?
Immediately, instantly. I was making money right away. Like
no watch hours, time or nothing.
Nah, see, this is before all that.
Oh
yeah. See, like when I came in, I think within the first month of me making videos, I was getting money.
The first month?
Yeah, probably like within the first couple of weeks. Because you get monetized right away. And then I already had a channel from years ago, but I never put nothing on it. So I think by default, the channel was already monetized. Damn. But see, what happened later was you had to go through a re-monetization process. But how I came in, off the rip, it wasn't that much money. It was like, my first YouTube check might have been like $75. But this is just, I have zero subscribers. From zero to that, to me, that was a lot.
Was you working like at a job then or anything like that?
That's a good question. So before this, I was a graphic designer, self-employed.
Okay.
I did that from 2007 until 2018. So you see it's a little bit of overlap.
Yeah.
I started in 2015 and then I'm still designing up until 2018. Yeah.
Then you stopped?
Then I stopped.
What made you?
I just couldn't. It was just too busy. I'm doing too much. I couldn't balance both. And then at the same time, the graphic design wasn't the same anymore. That kind of was going away. When I came into graphic design in 2007, see, this old man shake fish at cloud. But when I came in, you had to, like, let's say cutting out a picture from a background. You could do it now, push a button, right?
Yeah.
Now, but back then you had to draw it with a pen on the computer. So I took it to my mouse and put individual points around the picture to cut it. So that might take like 15 minutes. And you doing that. So let's say I do a club flyer, right? And you know how the club flyers be. It'd be a dude in the front, a girl in the back, whatever. It take me like about 2 hours to cut the pictures.
Damn. That's 2 hours?
Hours. Yes. And I'm doing 3 flyers a day at that time.
That's crazy. So would you say it's easier to grow a brand now or back then?
See, that's a 2-part question. It's easier. It's simple. The steps are simpler, but it's harder because the steps are simpler. Yeah, it's so many.
It's because it's everybody got a YouTube channel. Everybody got a million different social media pages. So it seems like even just 5 years ago when I started the podcast, it was podcasting. It was like only a handful of people that I like knew that had them. Now everybody has one.
Exactly.
So it seems like, I don't know. It seems like it's more difficult to a degree.
It's more difficult because everybody's doing it.
Everybody doing it. To blow and to magnify it and get it big.
Exactly. It's harder to grow, but it's easier to do the steps to grow. All the things you got to do, producing videos, editing, all of that, the things you have to do in the background, that's simpler. But the ability to blow up and get attention is harder.
Do you think let's say somebody thinking about it, right? Do you think they should master or become extremely knowledgeable on the topic? Like you address, cultural things and politics. How long were you in that space mentally before you was like, I feel comfortable enough to speak on this?
I kind of always was like that. Even when I was young, I was like that.
Really?
Yeah. Because, I got a family history. See, my granddad he knew the first black governor of Virginia, Douglas Wilder.
Really?
He got appointed to a 4-year term on the actual board of Virginia, like the state government. And my dad was really out in politics. So right when I said I was going to do my channel, my dad would give me quizzes. He was like, yo, who's a House Minority Whip? Who's the Speaker of the House? So he would try to get me into that. I knew a little bit, but I didn't know a lot. So I had to get educated more and more as I progressed into it.
Because your dad knew these are the kind of things that people was going to probably push you on.
Of course.
Especially being a black conservative.
Of course. Absolutely.
You're going to get it from every... What would you say is the reaction from when you started to now? Do you think there's a big... Because you could kind of be in a bubble where you could think the shift is bigger than what it is because you in that bubble. But do you think that's legit, the shift from more black people becoming conservative?
It's a big shift. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Sure. Because when I first came out, it was nobody like me. Nobody.
I believe it.
I ain't gonna say nobody. It might have been 2 guys, literally. I'm talking about for not even exaggerating, 2 guys on YouTube, black guys that was conservative. Because right when I came out, this is before Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. This is we came out kind of at the same time, but I was out a little bit before them.
Right.
So it was really early. It wasn't really a common thing. And now it's kind of regular. So now it's not really a big shock when you see a black conservative, really.
It's not.
Yeah.
At least not to me, it's not.
Right. Yeah.
That's so fun. And it's so interesting because back then, this is, let's say around 2015, 2016. Like, if you're a conservative, right, people kind of, they assume that you were always that way, right?
Yeah.
And I'm bringing this up because my wife, she joke all the time. She like, man, I remember when I first met you, you was a super radical. Like you was off like Dr. Umar side. But as you grow in age, you become, I remember my deployment I went on, that kind of changed my life. That kind of shaped. That was the foundation to where I'm seeing the world now. And I'm like, oh, snap.
Yeah, because you can be told one thing, when you see it with your own two eyes.
I'm like, man, America is not. I was under the mindset, and this might be shocking to my viewers because I never talked about this before. I was under the mindset like, I'm an American. I'm oppressed as a black man. I went overseas, bro. I'm like, bro, we don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
That changed everything that was like the beginning point. And then there was other things in my life happening, just maturing. But so I'm always interested in knowing like whether like when I meet somebody that's conservative, like were you always like this or your family like this? Because that turning point is different for everybody.
Yeah. See, me, I was always into political stuff. And I think culturally I was always conservative. When I was younger, I was radical too. I was super radical because I'm young. I didn't really understand. But as I got to be like in my late 20s, that's when it kind of happened. I want to say, I got a story. So the first Obama term is 2008. I'm a graphic designer. We have an office with a bunch of employees and people had their own little businesses. So, and clients, we had a big party. Might have been 50 to 100 of us. People were crying. It was a big thing. Yeah, it was crazy. But that kind of wore off in 2012. Like really 2011, because the economy was a little bit different than what we expected. We were told hope and change, but a friend of mine went bankrupt, Chapter 11 during that time.
I believe it.
People were calling me asking, did I have any work for them? Because it was just really rough at that time. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on with this guy we got in office? Like that really started to make me think about my political stuff. And then once I started thinking about that and look into it, it matched my cultural ideology already. So it just made sense.
Do you think, because, oftentimes I remember hearing this a lot when I was younger, it was like, whether it's red or blue, no matter what's going on, it don't matter. It don't impact us as black business people, as black laborers. Like, what is your thoughts on that? Does politics affect real people in real time when it comes to the economy? Because a lot of people they think it doesn't matter.
It's very important. I mean, my biggest thing with this recent election was immigration, the migrant crisis.
Right.
Because that right there, I mean, they brought in so many people and all that did was suppress wages because they're trying to bring back slavery. That's the idea.
What do you mean?
Because it's not the same way they did it with us, where they had the chains and whips and plantations. They can't do that no more. But the whole idea is to get a low paid labor force that can be easily exploited and abused. Because a lot of these migrants come over here and get abused. They get, you get ICE that come in and find horrendous conditions. Then you just see where they had the kids working on the weed farm in California. Children, kids. I'm talking about like 13, like not even old enough to work, but on the weed farm picking weed. It's like, that's
crazy.
Is that what we doing? We got kids harvesting marijuana, drugs for real. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I thought we were against that. So that kind of thing right there really impacts us because with the truckers. A lot of truckers tell me, ain't no trucking shortage, but they bringing in all these illegal aliens because they want to drive down the cost. That's the only thing. And then once you get them out of here, all of a sudden, you got to pay truckers more money. I put out a video. It was a black dude talking about it. He was like, thank you, Donald Trump. I don't know about him. I'm not saying he's not a racist, but what he did with the CDL, you got to speak English to have your CDL. That's going to impact Americans because
Trump did that?
Yeah, Trump did that.
I ain't hear about that.
Yeah, you got to speak English to have your CDL. So now you can't get all these illegal aliens coming in. They don't speak no English. You understand what I'm saying? And working for next to nothing, slave wages.
Yo, I didn't know that. I ain't hear about that. But because these things directly, how I see it, they directly impact like the black community the worst because we the most economically disenfranchised. We have the lowest income, the lowest like wealth. So it's like these jobs we need to be getting in more than like anybody. And if you get overlooked or misplaced, but a lot of people they don't even think that's a real. They think that's like a conspiracy, like the misplacement thing and all that. But hearing it from that point of view, that's very interesting, bro.
Yeah, man. Like people, they don't really understand what we really do as far as working in this country as black people. They don't really get it. Like my neighbor across the street has a lawn care service. Got a nice, beautiful house, wife and kids, like black dude, and it's not just It's not a thing like trying to attack Mexicans or anybody like that. It's all about Americans. So you got people that's here legally, Mexican American, Black American, whatever. We're here legally. We need to be the ones who are the focus of these jobs, of real work. If we're not doing the real work and we rely upon everybody else, we're not going to be able to survive as a country.
Where do you think AI comes into place with all of this?
AI is overrated and it's a bubble.
What do you mean overrated?
It can't do everything they say it does, or it can't do everything they say that it can do for the cost they think that it can do. So, for example, they got all these AI agents and stuff like that. A lot of things that are being sold, a lot of these products are being sold at a severe loss. And it's not going to actually go down in price in reality. So what's going to happen is once you get the real cost of what some of these AI things do, it'll be the equivalent of a human. So at that point, it'll make no sense to use AI.
What about future? Do you think, because are you speaking from AI just at the stage it's at right now?
Well, I'm speaking about AI right now, but it's not really going to change that much in the future because it's the expense. They can get the expense down. That's one thing, but I don't really see that happening in the future. They're using a lot of resources right now, a lot of water, a lot of pollution going on. It's a lot of things they're kicking the can down the road on. Like it was a plant out there in Memphis where there was some problems because the neighbors were like, yo, all these fumes, it's toxic. That's going to be a problem. It's a bubble. AI can help. AI does help. It's a good tool to have, but it's not as grandiose and omnipotent as they want to say.
As they want to make it seem.
Yeah.
What role do you think independent media plays in all this versus mainstream?
Oh man, that's a really good question. So independent media, that's going to be the way forward. Like, I think the way I look at mainstream media, their job is to verify if something happened. That's the only thing I look to mainstream media for. Like when Charlie, unfortunately, was killed. Okay, if the media are reporting something, it has to be true because if it's not, they can be sued out of existence.
Literally.
Like there was a like the Hunter Biden laptop story. I knew that was real because New York Post put it out. Rupert Murdoch owns that. He also owns Fox News. He's not going to put out something that's fake because if he does, they're going to sue New York Post, Fox. The whole thing would go down. Everything. So it don't make no sense. Why would you put out something that's false like that? So I knew they'd double, quadruple, and use all the resources to check it. So I use them for that. But when it comes to opining on a topic, when it comes to giving your opinion, that's going to be where we come in. Because you get the real and uncut rather than what they tell them to say from the corporate office.
And I think, just as a viewer, I think that's, for the people that own these networks, I think that's very scary to them because now it's like they don't, they used to control it.
They can't. That's over with. That's been done. Yeah, social media is over because we can immediately contact our viewers instantly.
Instantly.
It's right. They can't do anything about it. And they try to put out like their own version of influencers, but they don't. It's not a thing you can really just create. Either you are that or you're not.
Do you see, because I think, and it kind of happened on a small scale where they started trying to basically become donor or hire influencers. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I mean, when that happens, you can kind of tell. People can tell what's going on, like, especially if you see like a certain little label on their thing, you can kind of tell what's going on. It's like, okay, you're working for X, Y, and Z. And this is part of the reason why I never signed to any kind of network or anything like that ever, because I wanted my audience to know that it's coming straight from me. And if it's an ad or something like that, I tell you straight up what it is. I never try to hide nothing. And people appreciate the authenticity, which is what makes a good influencer a good influencer.
Do you think having so many voices on social media does more harm than good?
No, I don't think so. I think it's part of the freedom of speech because you need to hear every idea and you need to hear the opposing idea. I think what it could be is that there's too few viewpoints of the opposing idea. Like it's too few conservatives out there giving their voice. It's a lot of the left giving their voice, but it's too few of us. So a lot of what gets heard by most people is just the left point of view. But they need to hear both point of views to make their mind up, whether I'm right or whether they're right.
And so what's so interesting is when I tell people like, being a business owner, you typically around other business owners a lot of the time. And most of the business owners that I know, specifically the black ones, specifically the black males, they're 90% of the time conservative.
Yeah.
But they're following they never would know that because they don't care to put that out there and get all the flack and all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It's too few of us talking.
Right.
That's the thing. We feel this way, but since we don't talk, it's assumed, all you guys are not conservative. You guys are on the left.
with that being said, I want to, cause I'm like I consider myself kind of a history buff, because I feel like to understand how something got to where it is, you kind of got to understand the history. So can you even explain like how, like where in history did this start with? Because we know if you go back to historically to the 1800s and stuff, Black people was big into conservatism. So where did it start? Just for the people that's watching and listening that don't have the information, where this shift happened, where it is 90% blue.
That's a really good question. There was, I think, probably one big shift, but there were other shifts that happened.
What's that?
Like we can go all the way back to the end of slavery, 1865, or right around that time. What happened was America released a people with no education, and all they know how to do was just work for white people. That's all we knew at that point. Not all of us, but it was a big portion of us. That's all we had. That's all we knew. So then it became a matter of, okay, who's going to educate the Negro? What's going to happen with this group? What are we going to do? And a lot of the people who were in charge had good ideas, like HBCUs. That was a government invention because it needed to educate us after slavery was over with. They had good ideas, but then there were also some bad ideas. The government assistance, government programs are the worst, absolute worst. And I think what we're seeing right now in this country is after COVID, they expanded the welfare system to general Americans, and it wasn't strictly focused on Blacks. Because at one point in a lot of cities, a lot of your budget would go toward programs that would help Blacks because they didn't know what to do. So for instance, you have, let's say you got a housing project that's run by the city. Okay, how much does that cost to run every year compared to what the residents contribute to it?
Right.
So it's stuff like that all over the country. And when COVID happened, they said, okay, everybody can take advantage of these resources. What they did was incentivize us to not work. So, and then they bring in the migrants. They say, okay, you Americans don't want to work, here go the migrants. But some Americans did want to work. So it just negatively impacted us and brought us down to the lowest common denominator of the American who was incentivized not to work and the migrant who worked for next to no money, slave wages.
It get deep, man.
It get real deep, man. Like you can go back to the end of slavery. So they did that with the HBCUs and everything. They're trying to figure it out. And then like in the 50s, 60s, we had civil rights. And then that kind of shifted us more toward the left because a lot of that was communist propaganda. Martin Luther King, we love him, but he was trained at a school in Tennessee with others. I don't want to say everybody's name because I'm going to forget. But he was trained to be a communist. A lot of what he said come from communism. And I think that MLK had the right idea. His heart was in the right place.
His heart was in the right place.
Heart was in the right place. But you're getting a bunch of communist ideals and then enter feminism. I'm going to give you a stat. I don't know if you guys know, but in 1960, 80% of Black Americans were married before they had children. 1960, 80% of us were in married two-parent households. Now we're at about 75% single-parent households in 2025.
We went from 80% married households to 75% single.
Yes. Yep. And the turning point was civil rights because all the welfare benefits, it excluded the man and incentivized the man to not be there. Okay, we'll give you this money from the government, but you can't have a man living here. Yeah, we go and they started doing home inspections. Right. They would go in your house. Okay, you got Timberland boots on the ground and stuff like this.
There's a man here.
There's a man here. So you're not gonna get the money. So what they did was force the man out. Then here comes drugs. Here comes crack. Oh my God, the crack era. I lived through the crack era. When the crack came, then the men who were pushed out of the home because of the incentivized program from the government, then here comes crack. Okay, now you might get on that or die in the process of trying to sell it, or you get locked up for a long time because you were engaging in violence.
So like I said, this could be a 3-hour conversation alone. I did a tweet earlier, well not this week, last week, and I said how I don't think most people realize that since the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, most movements, even although many of them start with good intentions, I'm talking about right, left, religious, most of these movements get infiltrated by outside entities, and they'll be their donors, and they get taken advantage of. And I feel like when I learned that, like that was another thing that was like a turning point for me, because now I'm being manipulated mentally. Like these thoughts that I'm having, they're not even of my own.
Right.
So, but that's the thing that I feel like like many of us, we just aren't aware of. And like I said, it get real, like even going, like you said, going back to MLK, it get real deep when it comes to stuff.
It get real deep.
But I want to ask you about capitalism for a second, because I still see today many people like, and I don't want to use the word hate, but I have a great dislike when I see Black people being anti-capitalist. Mm-hmm. It's like it grind my gears for real. Yeah. What do you think about that, and why do you think that is?
I think that a lot of us are anti-capitalist because we've been incentivized by the government to do nothing. Because capitalism is all about working and then being paid, being compensated for your work. So why would anybody be against that? It's because you don't want to work. You want to get handouts. You want to get things from the government you feel you deserve. Like reparations, I understand people that want it, but I'm like, people have been having that conversation for a long time, long as I've been living. I'll be 41 on the 22nd. Like, it's been a constant conversation. It's like your whole life will pass you by without having that happen. So it was like, what are you going to do right now? Right now, today. You can go work right now, today, especially since so many Americans don't want to work. Man, look, if I'm 21 years old right now, you could be in the hood. Look, I got a pressure washer recently for like $600, top of the line pressure washer. I can go do that and just, I can make a killing off of just doing that. People that don't want to wash their driveway or whatever. You could do so much in this country, but you have to go out there and work. To be focused on trying to get something from the government, a check from the white man, you're not going to ever succeed like that.
What do you think about this kind of like a segment about masculinity? Do you think there's a war on masculinity in America?
That's a really good question. I think that masculinity has been, in many ways, marginalized. I think that true masculine people are kind of pushed to the side. I think the LGBT agenda has taken over everything. Like television, it's a lot of propaganda in my opinion. And I feel like, and shout out to the LGBT, whatever, okay. But I think they recruit through their music, through television, everything. When I was younger, the themes that we see on television, open nudity, male on male kissing, it's disgusting, really, what I see on TV nowadays. I try to watch Netflix. I don't watch TV, by the way. I don't watch no TV.
I don't watch TV either, really.
I ain't watched it probably in the past 15, 20 years. But, like, I never seen Game of Thrones.
Me neither.
I never seen none of that. People talking about certain, I'll be like, what's that? But
I never seen none of it either.
Exactly. But I tried to watch Netflix one time. I'm like, okay, let me turn on Netflix, see what they got going on. You know, I got friends that got Netflix. I let them have it. You could take it. I turned it on one day. It was this show called Sandman, I think it was called.
What's called?
Sandman? Something like that. Yeah. I forgot exactly what the title was. But it was like some type of high fantasy, angels, demons on. Okay, let's see what's going on. And out of nowhere, the main character puts on a dress and is in a club dancing the drag performance. I'm like, what is this? How we go from angels and demons, dreams, nightmares
to a drag?
To a drag. I think that also, here's something else. That kind of content is there because a lot of people want it.
That is true.
People want it, but unfortunately, that percentage of the population is being given a platform that shouldn't be as big. You have a niche fetish that shouldn't be shown to the entire populace, because then it's called indoctrination.
Indoctrination. What are your thoughts on the gender wars? Do you think that's a real thing? Do you think it's just something that's seen online? Is this something that's happening in real life? What's your thoughts on that?
Wow. I could talk about that for a long time. First of all, I knew Kevin Samuels. We did like a show together back in 2017.
Okay. We
used to be, shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson if you're watching. Okay. Shout out to him. We had the Sunday Rumbles and we had everybody. We had O'Shea in there, me, Alpha Male Strategies, Angry Man.
Okay.
The list goes on. Phil, Advice Show, everybody was in there. Yeah, so we would have these discussions, and a lot of what we talked about, Kevin would talk about when he really blew up and became who he was. And I think what's happening is, specifically in the Black community, the women are battling for resources when it comes to the men, meaning there's not enough men that they want that match where they at. I think Steve Harvey said it, he might got a little bit of flack. He said that Black women are doing better than Black men. He was halfway right, but not all the way right. He needed to go a little bit deeper. The average Black woman just walking around is probably doing better than her counterpart walking around. But there are so many more Black men who are doing better than all of them that we still end up doing better when you look at the collective.
Right.
But for the average woman, they're not finding the average person that is on their same level.
Right.
But, and then they don't want to, and so it's a tale all this time, really. They're going for that top 10%. Because that's better than the guy that's right here, and all the other women want him. That's kind of what's happening. So they're battling for resources, as in the top men.
And I seen a video from the 1970s recently. This is probably like a month ago. I seen a video. They had like a panel of black people from the 1970s talking. They was random people. They wasn't celebrities or anything. And they was discussing these topics then, discussing like why they can't get along and this. And I'm like, this is crazy because people think this stuff is like new. I'm like, they was having these conversations in the 70s. Yeah. I'm like, this I didn't know that till recently. I'm like, this is really but when you break that down, that is that's very real. So it's a strange thing because it's like we want, especially if you're a conservative, the center base, the foundation is family. You want people to build more families. But with this clash, I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I got a hot take though. I don't know how hot it's gonna be, but what's gonna have to happen is women gotta share.
We share what?
Men. It's gonna have to happen because I'm gonna tell you, here's what's gonna happen, and you can set your watch to it. The women who are looking for men on a level or above are not going to be able to be with their actual match. They're not really going to want that usually. So either they will just stay by themselves, just make their money, have a good life, friends, family, traveling, whatever. They'll do that, or they'll just share the top men. Yep. That's really it. The only other option is to do what they really don't want to do, which is be with the guy that's right at their level.
Exactly. And the thing, what you said, you talked about sharing, it's already happening.
It's happening.
It's already, so when I hear women say like, me and my wife, we had this conversation several times about what you just said. That's why I started laughing. But I'm like, it's already happened culturally. You meet a guy, especially if a guy that's doing well, like, he might be hitting 3, 4, 5 women already. Y'all already sharing one dude anyway.
Exactly. I mean, we already got baby mamas. Okay, how many baby mamas you got? 2 or 3 of them. And even if y'all not together anymore intimately, you still gonna be part of their life.
You're still part of this person's life.
So you still sharing them. You know what I'm saying? So sharing, it might not even be the intimate part. It could just be his time, his presence, him. You're gonna want some of him, some of his time.
And I'm a Christian. In the Bible saying in the last days, it would be 7 women to 1 man.
There you go. It was written.
It was written. But this is really like an important convo because I've had conversations with several women that may be doing well or all right for themselves, and they don't want a guy that's at nowhere near. It could be a little lower than what they're doing. They're not interested in that guy at all. So I'm like, yo, this is insane to me.
But that's the funny part about feminism, right? Because they were like, we want equality, but now they still don't want to be. They didn't have equality back then, and they really wanted things to stay the same. But feminism came in and convinced them, hey, you should be on the same level as men.
Same level as men.
But women instinctively don't want that.
And with that being said, do you feel like it's largely negatively impacted specifically the Black community?
Yes, I think that has, but the biggest thing that impacted us was when they did the whole thing with the welfare and the camp for men in the house. That I think that probably was more impactful, but that's also an impactful thing that hurt us.
You in a very polarizing space. Like how are you staying sharp mentally? How you not letting get? Because I feel like a lot of times you can see certain things, especially being a conservative, where you could get to a point where you like, man, I don't even like people. I don't even want to be around people no more. So like, how are you staying, in a healthy mind state, staying sharp mentally in this polarizing space?
That's a good question. I got a lot of good friends that are on the same page with me. That's the main thing. I like to travel and be over here, be over there. Like when I'm here, okay, I got friends I'm hanging out with, people I'm talking to, people I talk to on the phone. That's a really important thing. If I didn't have that, man, I wouldn't even want to go nowhere, stay in the house and just let everybody do what they got to do on the outside.
So it's that simple for you? Just a good circle of people around.
You got to have a good circle that you can really count on, people that are good in your life. And if you don't have that, understand that most people are not where you at. So having that internal understanding is very important as well.
I want to talk about this because I don't remember what post I made, but I remember you and my guy Andre Hatcher was coming, and it was about marriage, and you was talking, and I was talking about it was like about legally getting married.
Yeah.
What was it again?
Okay, so the thing was, I don't know what your post was, but I was like, never get married.
Yeah, that's what you said. Right.
And I think Andre had responded. He was like, I think you asked me, what you mean, like legally? And he responded, he was like, yeah, that's what he's saying. Don't do it legally. And that's really the biggest thing about marriage is the legal part. Oh my God. Like, hey, shout out to my ex-wife. There's nothing against her.
You was married before?
I was married, yeah. Okay. Shout out to her. Shout out to the family. They really good people. Really, really good people. But I've heard some horror stories.
Me too.
Luckily, my divorce was cool. We went to the courthouse together.
Okay, so it was amicable.
It was fine. It was amicable. She was great throughout the whole process. The family was as well. After the divorce, they invited me to a cookout and everything. So they really good people. But my story is rare.
That's extremely rare.
I done heard guys I'm talking about on the street, no clothes on their back, and it just be a bunch of vitriol because of the legal part. Because the woman has the ability to do that. If she's scorned, if she's upset for whatever the reason, maybe he did something, maybe he didn't. It don't even matter. But now she has the ability to get revenge on you through the legal system.
Yeah. And they'll use, I've seen this, man, I've seen people go through some ugly. I remember I always tell the story when I was in the military, one of my old supervisors, his wife was cheating on him while he was deployed. He found out, came home, she filed for divorce, left, moved in with the new guy, took all the money, left him in the house with no furniture. No, he said he was eating a Snickers bar for dinner. I just remember that key detail. Yeah. I'm like, damn, you was really at the bottom of it.
It's like that because, I mean, and then people say, well, regular guys shouldn't worry about women taking your money. Actually, it's the regular guys that get it the worst. Because let's say you got Jeff Bezos, right? He get hit for $100 million, $100 billion. $100 billion. Yeah, it don't even matter. He got it. But if you are check to check and she hits you for $5,000, you devastated. You on the streets.
Literally.
So it seemed like a little amount of money, but look at the proportion. How much do you actually have? How much do you make? She could take a little bit from a guy that makes a little bit. It's devastating. You take a lot from a guy that makes a lot, it's nothing.
So with that being said, what would be your, if you had a main piece of advice to men, young men, what would it be today on how to deal with the world, how to build yourself? What would you say?
Focus on being the best version of you. Focus on being the best version of you. Get your money. Do the right thing by people. Be honest with everybody you do with, especially the women. You know, a lot of guys like to lie. Don't do no lying.
Yeah, that's going to backfire.
It's going to backfire. A lot of guys feel like they got to do that to get to where they want. It's like, nah, if you're the best version of you, you don't have to do no lying. So focus on yourself first. Focus on your purpose. Shout out to AMS. Focus on your purpose. Focus on you. And then go out there and you can have what you want.
Where do you see, as a country, where do you see 5 years from now? I'm not even going to say long, 10, 20, 30. Because it seemed like this is a pivotal turning point. Pun intended, no pun intended.
Right.
So what do you see within the next 4-5 years happening?
What I see is people who realize they got to stepping it up. Young people especially, they have to just go and do more than what they maybe were told they had to do. A lot of these young people, they go to school, maybe they go to college. They're not really going as hard as they should. But in the coming years, they're going to have to go hard. It's going to be hard times, and you got to go hard. And those who cannot go hard or do not want to go, they'll just fall by the wayside and they'll be suffering.
Do you think we are in a recession?
I think so, but I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, because it does matter to people that are experiencing it. But I go back to what I said. If you are the best version of you and you going hard, this is still America. So it don't even really matter. Like in 2008, when the crisis happened, I was getting all kind of money. Like during that time where guys, and then Obama came in and messed it up. But
he said he messed up.
He messed it up, man, because like 08, 09, and 10, oh man, we were getting it. And then when Obama's presidency really came into picture, like 2011, that's when it fell off for us. Like that were like kind of in the street. And we were doing nothing illegal. We were just working. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting, I don't know if I probably have heard people say that one before. That's really interesting. What do you think, if you had to say one thing was the greatest threat against America and Americans right now, what would you say?
The greatest threat? That's a really good question. Wow. The greatest threat, I would say, an uneducated and easily manipulated populace of people.
Damn. I like that answer.
Yeah.
Why? And what makes you say that?
Because people can easily be turned into martyrs, just like the dude that shot Charlie. Mm-hmm. It was so easy just to get him on Reddit and just fill his head full of things and he go out there and do that. It was easy. He was a really smart guy, big math.
Yeah, I already had a 4.0 GPA.
Super smart guy.
Yeah.
like an E-line. But the thing about E-line and other people, they're very, very smart. But when dealing with humanity, sometimes it could be a little bit tricky for them to understand how to interface.
That's real. That's hilarious. That's so funny because I know some people that's been around Elon, and they told me like he was a pretty cool guy, but it was like you can like you said, when people usually that smart, usually there's what most people would consider awkward.
Yes.
They would say, oh, that's an awkward person when they just kind of like in their own little bubble or world. That is. So, but I think I agree with your answer, bro. But I think it's do you think, because we in the smart era, the smartphone era. Mm-hmm. So you would think that it should be hard for people to be ignorant today. But it seems like it's easier.
It's easier because things are easier for us to do. This is back to what I was saying before about how when I was a graphic designer, it was harder to do the things that it's easily done now. Like when I would cut out a picture on the flyer, I got to take my mouse and take my pen tool and hit dots around the picture. So if I do like a club flyer, got 3 people on it, it took me 2 hours to cut the pictures. But now you can do it at the push of a button. But what's missing there is the skill it took for me to do that. Just like with ChatGPT and stuff like that, I had to actually write papers, long papers, research papers with notes and everything else with no assistance, like just on WordPad. And now you got so many tools, it makes it easier. So the skill that we developed from writing papers, from doing research is not there. Our skills have been stunted. So that makes us less intelligent.
No, I agree with that. And that's, how can I put it? Because like I said, you would think we would be the most informed generation probably in human history. But it definitely, from the looks of it, it seemed like it's going backwards. And I'm like, what is the fix? How do you address something like this? I don't know if there, especially with AI coming, you already can't tell what's real. People already can't tell what's real and what's fake. Yeah. And it's, these things are going to get better as time goes on, especially with the visuals. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people really won't know what the hell is going on. So it's like, man, we in a very interesting time. And I kind of just, unfortunately as it is, I just stay in my own zone. I
understand.
I moved out to the country. I'll be low key. I'll be like, cause this shit is getting crazy.
That's why I say in Chattanooga, because it's like I'm out there just kind of chilling. It's kind of country. Like right down the street, we got cattle. Like one of my neighbors, like down the street, got chicken to be in his front yard, no fence, it just be out on the street chilling. Like, that's a kind of
that's real. That's real. Yeah, that's real. Like rural country vibes.
Yeah.
What do you have any kids?
No kids.
Do you want kids?
Yeah.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking, because I was gonna say how would you define legacy? Like, what does that mean to you?
Legacy, in my opinion, is the impact you left to the world.
Right.
Whatever that is, and at your funeral or when people remember you, it's like, okay, when I spoke to him, he told me this. When I was in his presence, he helped me with X. That's going to be your legacy. What you did, your impact on the world.
Who? That's like a 2-part kind of way.
Okay.
Who and what do you think is directly impacting or trying to stop the conservative voice?
Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's it.
Okay. Who or what? I think
specifically in the Black community.
Oh, well, you got a lot of political people because the Black community is seen as the automatic vote for the Democratic Party.
Right.
So whenever they feel like we kind of questioning, they send somebody out to lecture us, like Barack Obama.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? Yeah. That's what that was. And then they put people out there. They do with the entertainment. They try to bring out Cardi B, all these people. It was funny watching the campaign for Kamala. I was like, man, what is this? Like a Beyonce concert, man?
Yeah,
like, and really, they just spend money to try to make us believe something that's not true. They come with fanfare over substance. They come with celebrity over substance. So they try to do that to make us not want to vote for the other side because they're no longer in power. They have their plan for how they want the country to run. They have their plan for how the economy and everything's going to run. And when we vote differently, it kind of gets in the way. So I think it's going to be them, number one, who are behind a lot of this. And they do it in different ways, not just through television, music, movies, but also K through 12 in college. They they make curriculums where all of that is in there. So that's how you can send your child to school bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and they come back
a different person,
whole different person, because they're being brainwashed to be that way, and it comes straight from the top.
Would you consider, because I got my own thoughts on this when I'm about to ask you, would you consider our community a matriarch?
I think so, but it's so loosely tied together because in a true matriarchy, you have, like, that was my great grandmother. She was like the matriarch. When she was married, of course, to my great grandfather, but she was still like the person.
Right.
He was there always being the man, but he might not say 2 words to you if he ain't know you.
That's how it was. That's how a lot of men, especially talk about that generation, they ain't talk that much.
Nope. He just gets straight to the action.
Right.
And speaking about him before we keep on, he had a 3rd grade education in West Virginia, black man in the 1950s and 60s, coal mining, and built 2 houses by himself that still stand to this day.
Really?
So when people talking about, oh, what can I get? What can I get? No, what can you do? You could go out there and use tools. Home Depot right there. Lowe's is right there.
Lowe's.
You know what I'm saying? People spending money on bottles and chains and cars. How about go get a pressure washer? How about go get some lumber? How about go get a brad nailer and make something and do something?
You spoke on the education system with, like, do you think it's safe to even, like, how does somebody raise a child and having to send them to the education system? Mm-hmm. How do they avoid this? Or do they just strictly homeschool? What do you do?
I think the more realistic option, because everybody can't homeschool.
Right.
The more realistic option is what I had. So
what's that?
My dad at the time worked at a hardware store, and my mom would stay at home. We in the hood, like, we moved from West Virginia to here to Virginia Beach, Norfolk. My dad had a single wide trailer. We parked it right in the trailer park, right in the hood. But I got my dad and I got my mom. So when my dad was at work, my mom is doing flashcards. This is when I'm 2, 3 years old. And then I went to like a Christian preschool in the hood again, but yet it's better than going over there where they telling you about LGBT and Pride Month and all of that. So I did the Christian preschool, went to church when I was younger, especially to get educated about older people and be around them. So by the time I go to kindergarten, I'm already ready. I can count to 10 or 100. I can draw, color, write my own name. I'm already educated before I go. And then I get a debriefing. It's like, okay, you're going to learn X, Y, and Z when you're here, but that ain't really what it is. You have to get deeper. You got to get educated before you get education.
Mm-hmm. I love the answer. What would you say is the, for people that want to build brands, they want to build pages and grow a media company, how can these independent voices compete with these billion-dollar companies?
That's a really good question. I think what they can do is just be unique, be a unique voice. How you sound is one thing, of course, but fit in the lane that you really don't see being occupied by people. That's how I came in. Because when I came in there first in 2015, it wasn't a lot of guys that was black talking about conservative issues.
Facts.
And I was looking for that. So I was like, okay, rather than just trying to find it and being unsuccessful, I'll just be that for the next person. So that would be how you do it. Find a lane that's not really occupied by a lot, go in there and fill that lane. Identify a problem and solve the problem. Now, if you want to do things that others are doing, understand it's going to be very difficult. If you want to rap, congratulations. Just 1,000 rappers created every day. It's 1,000 rap songs uploaded every day.
Every day.
So that is a saturated field. Do something that's a little bit different. Okay, going back to the whole work piece. Do you know there's videos of people pressure washing, they get millions of views, cutting grass? So think about it from that point of view. Think differently. Think outside the box. Don't just think your favorite influencer, what they're doing, and copy them. Think about how you could be your own unique person.
That's a simple process. But I feel like that's easy. That's hard for people because they see other people's formulas. Yeah. And they like, it'd just be easy for me to do that.
But see, it's easy, but that goes back to people not doing what's necessary. It's easy. It's very simple to do these things. But if it was so easy to become an influencer that was successful, then everybody would do it. The steps are easy to take, but it's more difficult to do that because you're getting into a saturated market. So you can't escape that. You still got a saturated market. You can't escape it. So use the easier tools to get into a market that's not as saturated. That'll give you a chance for success.
I got two questions for you before we wrap up. The first one is, how and why does conservative views positively impact specifically the Black community? And I'll start there. Then we'll go to the next one.
Oh, conservative views positively impact the Black community because, first of all, we are socially more conservative than we really know. A lot of the things that the left does, we don't even know about. We don't know about drag queen story time. People don't know what that is. When I tell people, a lot of times, Black people, they don't even know what that is. So you got drag queens, okay, men dressed as women, just to be clear. Some of these guys have been known to be sex offenders, okay, abusing children. These guys will go and perform in front of their parents with their children, small children. Now, of course, the audience, mostly white. We're not even there.
Right.
Because we don't do stuff like that. Exactly. But see, that's what they're doing and that's what they promote. So if you're on that side of things, it's only a matter of time before
it impacts you.
It impacts you. Exactly. And you know what? There was one story about this Black kid in Philadelphia. It was crazy. There was a so-called mentor or something like this, white guy, and he winds up being killed by the kid. People are like, why did he do this? Oh, the guy was a mentor, but
he was molesting them.
He was molesting them, and he tried to blackmail him with the pictures and videos he had.
Wow.
If you don't keep doing this, I'm going to release these pictures. The boy might have been like 15, 16 when it started. And the guy was like in his 30s, probably like late 30s. There was a drag queen who showed up, a Black drag queen who showed up crying in front of the white guy's house when he got found dead. Now, the Black guy drag queen had stuff on his phone that was inappropriate from children, of course. So you got the one dude that was molesting them and the other dude with the stuff on his phone. And that's impacting this kid in the hood who just wanted to find somebody to help him get through what he was going through.
Be a mentor.
Because you got a lot of vulnerable people in these communities that are impacted by that.
Right. My final question I have for you. So somebody that hear this, right? And these are new concepts, new ideas, something that they never heard of. What would you say is like things that they can read? And it's not nothing to convince them, but just to inform them of like different things that you may have never heard before.
Okay, that's a really good question. So some good authors, I would say Milton Friedman, economist, Walter Williams. I would say, Thomas Sowell. Who else? I would say read Booker T. Washington, Up from Slavery, Carter G. Woodson, Education of the Negro. I think that's his book. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I have it up.
So those are some things you can get started on. Focus on the money part of it, and then focus on the culture part of it, and then it'll start to kind of click.
I seen somebody just yesterday say this on TikTok. He was like, as a people, we got to stop romanticizing what our people went through and start, you know what I'm saying, living for them and living, you know, being this bright light in the world and not just using that like, oh, I can't do nothing, I can't come. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's facts, man, because so many of us, we use that what they've been through as a reason not to be productive. You know what I mean? Or just be like, oh, I can't do this shit. It's like I said, we could go 2-3 hours real deep. We're gonna have to do this again, man, because this was really good. But before I let you go, plug in all your stuff where people can find you, follow you, everything you got going on.
All right. So the best way to find me, you could just search on YouTube, ABL, Anthony Brian Logan. I pop right up. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Find me everywhere. Subscribe to my stuff. Hope you enjoy the content.
Final thing. My wife wanted me to ask you this. She said, do you think America has a mental illness issue that's not being addressed?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a fantastic question. A lot of this is mental illness. Like, people are going through some very serious things mentally, and rather than just getting them help, we just playing along with it. Like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, you can identify as a pet dinosaur. That's all right. It's cool. It's like, actually, no, you can't. No, you can't. Like, and you know, there needs to be more invested into that to try and fix what's going on. But also, we got to recognize what's happening. We can't just say, nah, yeah, nah. Let's get down to the bottom of it and really address it for what it is.
I do. I said recently, I was like, man, I feel like we gotta even stop calling a lot of these things mental illness and just call them straight demonic. A lot of stuff is just flat out demonic for real.
That part, yeah.
But yeah, you gave your social medias and all that. Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all follow Anthony. Y'all see, man, he's a great voice in the community, period. Not even just in the Black community, period. He killing it as an independent media person. So y'all go tap in with all his content and everything he got going on, because as y'all can see, he got a shit ton of value. And as for me, y'all can follow me on all platforms at the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. That's YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, all those things. You can tap in with me. I would greatly appreciate it. And that's all I have on this episode. See you guys next episode. Peace.